once again to the Ben Smith Coaches Show here on the BCHS Network. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. And once again, we're talking wrestling at Bradley Central High School as we get toward the end of the season with Coach Ben Smith. And Coach, we always like to have you introduce our special guests, and you brought a bunch of them today. Lovely young ladies.
I did. I brought the hen house today. So to my left, I have Brooklyn Stansberry. She is a junior, second year wrestling, 145 pounds. She's been in and out of the rankings and around the rankings all year at 138, 145. And then I'm going to save my captain for last, and I'm going to go to Miley Godwin at the end. She's my first freshman that we've ever had. Multi-sport athlete, as is Brooklyn. They both play volleyball. So she came out this year, 100 pounds, been in and out of the rankings all year, and actually beat several state-ranked girls this year, so she's got a good weekend ahead of her. And then last but not least, I got Brianna Pontus, or Bree as we call her. She is the first senior that I've ever had come through the entire system. Now, she started as a sophomore, which was the first year that we started the program. But she's been there sophomore, junior, senior year. She's the only one to kind of stick it out. And so she's sixth ranked, returning state qualifier from last year. And so she's our girls captain this year. So Bree's with us.
So Bree, you have to ride herd over these other girls and keep them, make them walk the straight and narrow and make sure they behave. And
I'm always on them.
do the
always
practice routine and all that good stuff. You know. Well, the captain, that's part of what you got to do. You know.
They do a pretty good job.
Well, that's good to know. Now, I talked to Miley a little bit beforehand, and let's go back. Bree, we had you on our show last year one time. You play, do you do anything besides wrestling here, Brian?
No.
Wrestling is it?
No.
You've been wrestling for how many years now?
3 years.
3 years. So you were the first girl, or one of the first?
She was
first class.
She was the first class of girls. Her and Abigail Beasley were our first two girls, and they were JROTC girls, and very tough. And that was kind of the girls we were getting. And Abby came, and then Bree came with her, and Abby qualified for the state that year. Bree missed out on it by one match as a sophomore, and then COVID kind of kept Abby from coming back out, and Bree came back out and qualified for the state last year. Was a match away from placing, and came back out this year, and so on and so forth.
Maybe your place this year. Bree, for 3 years now, have you stayed in the same weight class? I mean, guys grow a lot during this time.
Yeah, I've been in 2 weight classes, or three?
Three at one point,
yeah, because when I first started, I was at the lowest weight class, and at the time it was 103 or 105?
102.
102, okay. And then my second year, I went up to 114, and then this year, my first semester, I went to 120, but then I went back down to 114.
Okay, so you've been bouncing around a little bit between weight classes. Molly, you're small, 102 weight class, right?
Yep.
And just a freshman, so obviously you're probably going to mature a little, grow a little bit and all that.
Maybe.
I asked you before we started the show, what's the toughest thing about being a wrestler? And you told me something that I didn't think about that you've got.
My braces.
Braces.
I can't stand them.
So you get whopped in the face, now you wear a mouth guard or mouth.
Yeah.
Hits me in the face every single day.
She gets me back, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, you don't think about your practice partner, but so is it an issue with you? I mean, I'm sure you have a mouthpiece or a.
Yeah, I do wear a mouthpiece in matches, but sometimes I should probably start wearing it in practice, but I don't in practice, which,
That's got to be painful.
It is.
So your braces are on for a while and you'll be off?
They'll be off before next year, but I'll probably have them the rest of the season.
Okay, well, Brooklyn, I ask you the same type of question. What's the toughest thing? You're not wearing braces that I see, but what's the hard part about being a wrestler?
Probably just staying consistent with it and staying with it. It's a long season from preseason to the end of it. It's a long push, and it's just staying with it and staying consistent.
Well, I've talked to some guys before, and I say the same thing you do to them. It's you and one-on-one. You're out there in the spotlight. You can't tap out, and it ain't a tag team, and you have to. It's a mental grind. I know it is tough for you guys to do that, and I see you get some of these awkward moves, and I think, Lord have mercy, that'd break my back or whatever. This old guy doing that, but I admire all three of you for doing that, and it's great to have you guys are building the legacy, especially Bree, first class of wrestlers. You're going to look back later on, and I know what this guy's going to produce throughout the years, and we've seen it. Just like the men wrestlers have come along and they're recognized around the state as one of the best pros in the state. Girls will be there too one of these days, and they'll probably be there sooner than we think. And Coach, that's up to you to get them there. You and your staff, of course.
Yeah, that's right. Well, my staff and me, because I've got a great girls staff, and that's something that we've had to. These girls have had to almost, we've had to adjust to together because up until January of last year, it was me and Coach Blackman coaching these girls. And you know, in our staff, and we have a large staff because we like to have a lot of practice partners, and to have a lot of practice partners, you got to have a lot of non-faculty coaches to follow the rules, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, the girls, a lot like when I was an assistant, like the JV freshman was kind of my baby. And then when we started the girls program last year, I was kind of letting Coach Blackman kind of cut his teeth at running a lot of practices, and I was spending a lot of time with these girls. And once Coach Kinsey showed up on our doorstep, and her husband, Coach Byer, they were so used to me being there and over top of them. And Bree will tell you, by the time the state tournament rolled around, it was almost like the pressure that they felt from us because they wanted to please us and do well for us was almost overwhelming. So coming into this year, one of my goals was to back off. Like, I've got 2 female coaches. Most programs don't have one. We have 2. We have Coach Moore and Coach Kinsey. And then we have Gabby's dad, Coach Bennett, and then Coach Kinsey's husband, Donnie Byron. So I have 4 girls coaches in the room just about every day. I backed off from these girls because I got to trust my coaches. Well, then January rolls around and they're like, do you still care about us? Like, are we still, you know, because once I was able to travel quite a bit the first semester with them, but when second semester hit and January picked up, I really tried to back off, and we couldn't be 4 places at once. But it's been an adjustment because these girls, having 2 girls of my own, was kind of a pilot run for like what it's going to be like to be a girl dad. And it was hard for me to not, because I'll overcoach Coach Kinsey and I'll overcoach Coach Byron because I'm used to being in charge and in control and whatnot. But we've had to make an adjustment. But like this weekend, we have the sectional. The guys have the guys at the sectional or at Oakland on Saturday. But Friday they have their region tournament, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute. But I'm sending the varsity boys up with Coach Blackman and Coach Matthews so I can go watch the girls wrestle. I hope I can coach some, but I probably won't. I hope it probably just sit in the stands. But I want to make sure that they know that I'm there. And we've got 5 opportunities to get to the state tournament. And we are a state recognized team. I mean, our goal with the 5 girls that we have left, because we've cut 3 of them loose now, once the dual season is over, our goal is to be a top 5 girls team in the traditional tournament. Yeah. And we can do that with 5 girls because we've done that before. So, but yeah, it's been an adjustment. And, you know, you got to brag on, like Bree is obviously, her record speaks for itself, but these multi-sport athletes, that's what we're after. Like, we need lacrosse players, girls soccer players, volleyball players. Because they're athletic, they know how to compete, you know, they're tough. But, you know, what I really like what Brooke said and the consistency of it. When Brooke came out, literally volleyball ended on Monday, she was there on Tuesday.
Wow. That's commitment.
I begged her to take a break. I'm like, you need to take a break. Like, take a week off. Yeah. But I don't think her dad or her brother, who were former Bradley wrestlers, Chase Stansberry and Todd Stansberry, I don't think they would let her. But I've watched her wrestle with consistency. And even Bree a little bit here and there. Miley's an uber competitor, so sometimes we've got to calm her down.
I can tell just talking to her.
She's a chihuahua. And she's always all over the place. But these girls are special. And I would, Maddie Taylor couldn't make it in today. She's a softball player, another multi-sport athlete. But those are my 5 girls that we're taking to the region this weekend, and we're excited.
Brooklyn, what got you? I didn't know your dad and your brother were wrestlers. Is that what got you into wrestling, got you interested in it, or?
Yeah, most definitely. I've been around it my whole life, watching him and knowing from it because my family. And my freshman year, I was a manager, and going into my sophomore year, Coach Smith and my dad kind of pushed me into it, and I was like,
need you on the
let's
mat.
do it, yeah.
She's tough. She's strong.
I ain't gonna fight her.
Yeah.
I promise you that. She's my best friend right now. She's ledger between us.
She's tough. I was goofing off with her in the gym a minute ago. I'm like, gosh, she's strong. I'm little, like she's strong. Get off me. Yeah.
Bree, you've been in the pro for 3 years now, and I've asked you this last year probably. What got you interested in wrestling to start with?
It was actually the first girl wrestler. She, there was like, I don't know, I guess she didn't like me or something, and my friends, they were telling me that I should join wrestling because then she wouldn't be talking crap anymore.
Yeah.
So I joined. And
And they became best friends and training partners.
I love
Well,
that.
she's being humble too, because she's got a jiu-jitsu background. Her dad and I crossed paths years ago on the jiu-jitsu scene, and so when I found out that that's her dad, I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense, because they all three wrestle kind of a different style, and Brianna she's not funky, but she wrestles a Bradley style of wrestling on the mat, which is leg riding, which is kind of it's kind of unknown in the girls scene. And so like I've got 3-4 girls that like when they get on top of you, they're wrestling like it's fun to go to tournaments and hey, their kid takes bottom, and then you hear the opposing coach go, legs are coming, and I'm like, my girls are gonna throw and ride legs. Like,
Words are getting out there.
Words getting
really
out there.
quick.
So it's super cool to see that happen. Yeah.
And Miley, tell me again, what got you interested?
One day, I was in volleyball conditioning, and Ariana Steele, one of our managers, came up to me and was like, I'm sure Coach Smith would love to have a 102 as a joke. And I was like, well, I guess, because I'd never even watched a wrestling match. Sorry, Coach Smith. I
And
thought
you
it was the
got
most
laid in.
disgusting thing ever. And we all thought it was so gross. But then I walked in and I watched, and I was like, it smells so bad in here. And,
That's exactly what she said.
and then I'll never forget the conversation. Coach Smith came up to me, or Ariana introduced us, and Coach Smith said, "Are you mean?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you tough?" He said, "Yeah." He was like, "You an athlete?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, see you Monday." And then and then also I wasn't gonna do it. And then the boys were like, "You couldn't do it. You'll quit after a week." And I was like, "Okay, well then I'll do it." And
Just
then
to
that's
show
how I
them.
started doing it. Yeah.
Just for spite, I guess.
Yeah.
And see, she's volleyball, wrestling, and also track now. You're starting now.
She'll be one of my track girls. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man,
And she's being humble too. Her dad and I crossed paths in the jiu-jitsu and MMA scene back in the day. When I figured out who her dad was, Marcia Goodwin? That's grandma.
The grandma.
And when I figured out who her dad was, I was like, and she said, "My dad knows you." Usually that's not a good thing. And she said, "My dad knows you." And then when we put 2 and 2 together, I was like, that explains the toughness. That explains the rigidness. So.
Well, jiu-jitsu, the Lipsy brothers, they have a jiu-jitsu background, don't
Yeah,
they?
our town's kind of well known for that, and I was in that
Learned
scene
something
for
all the
6 or
time.
7 years, so I know a lot of people in that community, and now I'm at that age, don't tell anybody, where a lot of people I went to school with, their kids are now high school or if not older, and so those paths cross a lot.
Well, that's great there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Sure.
I love having these girls. We'll have to have them back again.
They're awesome. Yeah, that's way more fun than having Easton and Ethan and Luke and those kids. Yeah, Coach Blackman, he just mumbled.
We're much prettier.
Let's never on the
Now,
screen.
we do have our girls wrestling team, we've got the best looking coaching staff and then the best looking girls team. Now, our guys team, they're kind of rough. That's kind of what they say, yeah.
They would cry if
That's
they
how you
heard
know that
that.
they're not boy crazy, because they don't ever go near them.
They're tough until you tell them they're not pretty.
There you
Then
go.
they get butt hurt.
Shallow egos.
What's you got coming up?
So, like I said,
Friday
Friday, let's talk about the girls first since they're here. There's a big lag in the girls' dual season versus the girls' individual season. So they've been practicing and getting ready. Coach Kinsey, Coach Moore, and those guys, they've done a phenomenal job keeping these guys rested, actively recovering, and then pushing them. I've seen the peaking cycle. I made Coach Kinsey write it out for me and look at it. They've done a great job. But these girls are chomping at the bit to compete on Friday. So you've got 16 plus man brackets at certain weight classes. At Stone Memorial on Friday. They've got to win 2 matches on the front, or 1 on the front, 2 on the back to get to the state tournament. 4 regions, 4 each, be a 16 female state tournament at the same location with us. I saw your question. So yeah, we'll all be at the same place next week. So I've already got hotel rooms booked for these girls, so we plan on them going. I think we've got great shots. Miley's been in and out of the rankings. Like I said, she's beat ranked girls. Bria's been as high as 2 and 3, and then she's had some rough patches. But when Bria's on, she's hard to beat. And we finally got Brooklyn adjusted at the right weight class. She does not cut weight well, so we figured that out. She's at the weight class she needs to be, which is maybe one of the toughest weight classes at the state. But we're going to make a run at getting to the state tournament. And then the next day, like I said, I'll watch them. Me and Gabby's dad will drive over to Oakland, and then the boys will be at the sectional. We just finished up at the regional last weekend at Walker Valley. We had 13 qualify. I thought we'd have 12. 13 was good.
Wow.
I'm selfish. I wanted 14, but I thought 12 was a good number. 13, we got 13 through. Cleveland got 13 through. We lost one real close semis match that kind of cost us the tournament. When we were pinning well, we were winning matches where we were supposed to, but those semis points were big. We ended up losing by 8 to Cleveland again, so we get another weekend in Oakland, and then we've got 100% plans on winning the state title next weekend. So
Hey, that's what we
these girls want to be, their goal transactionally is a top 5 team. We want 4 or 5 medalists, and we want a couple state champs. And then on the boys' side of it, we want to win a state title. We want to win our 27th state title. We want to have 5 or 6 finalists and 8 or 9 medalists. So that's what we want.
It's been a while since we've had a state champ. We need to have some more banners hanging on the wall up there.
We do. We do. So it's time.
We got
It's time.
plenty of space for
This team across the board has done everything we've asked them to do. And so they're poised for a state championship. So, we're excited.
Does this guy know anything about wrestling, when you're out there?
As far as I know, I wouldn't question him.
Because you just got into wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're the old pro here, not old, you're the pro here, 3 years on your belt, so it's,
I spend more time trying to motivate and facilitate. Even though I'm the head coach, I spend a lot of I think my strength is motivation. I think my strength is relationships. There's a lot of good wrestling coaches in this town. There's a lot of good, I'm not even the best wrestling coach on this campus between Coach Jackson and Coach Logsdon. And, my assistants are great. But I think I'm really good at motivation. I'm really good at relationships. And if I can get these girls to want to wrestle and perform for me like I did Coach Logsdon, then I think that's what makes a great coach. So
Well,
the X's and O's, they're whatever.
Coach Turner, Coach Lodge, man, you couldn't ask for 2 better mentors.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
2
not.
great guys. And
I get to do life with them every day.
They know wrestling, that's for sure there.
That's right. As Coach Jackson once told me, he's forgotten more wrestling than I'll ever know. That's what and that's true. And I've been doing this 19 years, so you go, man.
Well, he's probably right on that. He's been every Hall of Fame that's known to man in wrestling.
He does have underwear older than me. I'm not going to say that.
Okay, yeah, it will back there. We'll make sure it doesn't go back.
Yeah.
Well, Miley, Bree, and Brooklyn, yes. Coach Smith, appreciate you coming as
Amen.
always today.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Fans come out and watch. And when's it all start? Friday?
So
What
Friday at was it Stone Memorial? I think.
Some more.
Central Time Zone.
Central Time Zone. So weigh-ins at noon. Wrestle at 2. They should be done around 7 or 8. And then on Saturday, weigh-in at 8. Wrestle at 10 Central Time. And then next week, we'll be leaving together on Wednesday. So we'll have to do our final show or our last in-season show on Tuesday.
Okay.
But we're planning on taking 13 guys and 5 girls to Franklin next Wednesday.
There we go.
Yep.
Thanks for all y'all being here. Best of luck. Go pin somebody, whatever you got to do. Get some points. Win your match.
Break someone's nose.
Get as high as you can and beat them. We need you.
They're great girls, man. I'm blessed. If my daughters turn out like these girls, we'll be just fine.
Yeah. Been a great interview with you guys today. Girls today. Until next time, this is Gary Ownbey saying so long for now. God bless. I'd like to thank Coach Royer. And you folks can't see us at home, but back to my right here, there's 5 state championship banners hanging on the wall from Skills USA. Bradley Central news team, the Vox news team, has won 5 consecutive state championships. So go stick it in your pipe and smoke it. There's none better here than Coach Schroeder. We call him Coach Win Schroeder, our friend and ally. And the guy behind the scenes with his broadcast class makes all these programs available. We appreciate y'all watching. They're on YouTube, they're on Twitter, and they're on BCHS Bear Facebook. Tune in next time. Until then, God bless, and go Bearettes and Bears.